gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's nice to see you, and it's nice to be back in the live format this evening. I told you yesterday, I said we'd get a live one going, because I like to get you involved. I like a bit of ratata, a bit of back and forth, you know, some questions, some answers. It's a wee bit more fun than just the usual video format. So if you're joining me this evening, thank you very much. If you're just coming in, then good evening. Hope you've enjoyed your dinner. If you're yet to have your dinner, then hope you enjoy it when it comes. I've just had mine. I'm full to the brim. So this is going to be a bit of a struggle. If you're wondering, Ryan, why have you got a hat on? What are you wearing a hat for? Am I bald? No, I'm not bald. The simple answer before people start asking is, you know, I go on my wee daily stroller, try and get the 10,000 steps in. So I had it's freezing, it's cold, as we all know. It was -2 when I was out walking, so I had my beanie on. And the hat hair that's left is ridiculous. So we need to cover that with another hat. So this is the best solution forward. That's why the hat is on. Anyway, if you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. If you're watching back in video format, that's very important to hit the like button. Thank you. Make sure it's getting onto everybody's recommended. That'd be nice. Thanks very much. Good evening to everybody. It's nice to see everybody piling into the chat. Nice to see some of the regulars. Nice to see some other names that aren't so regular. It's just nice to have you along here. We've got a couple of things to talk about before we go into the usual 10 or 15 minutes of questions and answers. So I guess we should just quickly get those things out the way. It's why we're here, and then obviously we'll get into you lot and see what you are wanting to talk about. Is there any more rumours? Let's just start with that. Not necessarily. Nothing that hasn't been reported already on my channel. There is one thing we have to talk about in the title of the video, Cameron Carter-Vickers, because there's rumours about him. Obviously, that's not Celtic signing players, but no new names have really popped up in regards to Celtic signing players. Nothing of substance anyway, but we'll talk about that as it all goes. So let's get into the news that we do need to talk about, and we're just going to start with this and get it out of the way, because we don't really need to talk about it, but I thought we may as well give him his time, shall we? Obviously, last night, Celtic finally announced the signing of Nicholas Kuhn. It was made official on a 5.5-year contract. Wow. I hope he's good. These long contracts are good. I like us getting into the kind of the swing and the rhythm of giving players these longer contracts. But I think we gave like Quan a 5-year deal. We've seen how that's turned out so far, haven't we? So I'm hoping he's good to justify a 5.5-year deal. That's just about a 6-year contract we're talking here for Nicholas Kuhn. Obviously 5 years will kick off in the summer, if you can do maths. But this was the statement. Nicholas Kuhn has arrived as the first signing of 2024 for Brendan Rodgers' Celtic side, and having put pen to paper on his contract, the German can't wait to get playing at Paradise. The 24-year-old joins from Rapid Vienna on a 5.5-year contract, and now he wants to make his mark in the green and white of Celtic. There was obviously the Celtic TV interview, which I can push you towards to go and watch. I mean, a good plug here from PJ saying they've done a good job of the Kuhn videos. They've got the obviously announcement video and that beautiful tracksuit, by the way. How nice did that look? It is tracksuit. They've obviously got the Celtic TV interview as well. I think there's an exclusive Brendan Rodgers interview. There was also a fan media press conference today with the player, which I imagine will be released soon. I couldn't make it along. I was busy. I couldn't make it. So I didn't get the chance to speak to Nicholas Kuhn myself. Hopefully be at the next couple of fan media press conferences. I couldn't make it today, so apologies for that. And this was what he said. He said, it's a really big club. Heard a lot about it. Watched a couple of games already, and we had a friendly against Celtic. It's a big club, and I'm really happy to be here. He couldn't tell us enough that we're a big club, by the looks of things. Really wanted to get that through. I'm really motivated to do well for this great club, and I want the league. I want to get working immediately as we face our challenges in the league and the cup this year. So I'm really excited for what is coming. Brendan Rodgers also chimed in, talking about him. I think he said something along the lines of being a very versatile player. I think that's right there. This was him saying I can play in the left and the right. But Brendan Rodgers did comment on it. You can go and read the article for yourself. But that's that transfer saga brought to an end. We've obviously been waiting a week or two to see Nicholas Kuhn get signed and all the rest of it. So yeah, very happy to see him. I love a German. Another German signing. Hopefully, this one works out quite well. I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do. Ranny's Rovers, thank you for the £2. Says, Nicholas Kuhn could get some Celtic Daz cancelled. Yeah, it could. I mean, I've already seen some people giving him nicknames which don't work and shouldn't work. Be careful what you're calling him, because, yeah, I'm not going to say nothing. I don't want cancelled. I don't want my channel shut down. So just be careful with any nicknames you're throwing around for him. You know, there's a famous South Park episode where, if you're a fan of South Park, you'll know exactly. This is what I seen somebody post a picture from South Park, and Eric Cartman plays a raccoon type superhero. You know, like Rocket Raccoon. You know, that wee raccoon, and he's obviously got a name which has certain connotations. It's South Park. They're outrageous. And people were using that photo to say, welcome, you know. Don't do that. And save yourself the bother, right? Don't bother doing it. Just refer to him as Nicholas Kuhn. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. Or just go by his second name. But thank you for the £2 Rannies Rovers. It is very much appreciated. The question is, and a lot of people saying, I'd start him off on Sunday, see what he's made of. May as well, I suppose. Against Bucky Thistle's probably a good platform for him to go out and get some confidence into his game. Stuff like that, you know. I would love to see him. I don't really mind if he starts the game. If he doesn't start the game, I'm not going to be overly fussed, but I hope we see a good bit of him. And obviously, we've got to think about the likes of Leo Labana coming back as well. He's back at the weekend. So, well, he's back altogether. He was back in the Rangers game, but he'll have a chance at the weekend as well. So there's an opportunity for Celtic to kind of toy about and have a look at their options and see what's happening. But it's a good way for him to hopefully start his Celtic career. If he could contribute with a goal or an assist, that would be very nice, to say the least. So there you go. Nicholas Kuhn is officially a Celtic player. Shall we go on to the big story, which has got some people quite worried? For obvious reasons. It's in the title of today's live stream, and if I don't get onto it soon, you'll be wondering if I'm just clickbaiting you. No, I'm not clickbaiting you, because there is reports out there and numerous outlets going into the fact that there has been interest registered in Celtic centre-back Cameron Carter-Vickers. Obviously, our best defender, our crown jewel of the back four, the man who has held that together for the last, 2.5 years. One of the best centre-halves I've seen in my lifetime at Celtic. He's been unbelievable since the minute he came to the club. He's barely put a foot wrong. He's been brilliant. I love him to bits. A real joy to have in our team. But the time has come where teams are getting linked with him. Let me answer this question straight away. And I don't want to jinx anything, because people are going to ask, Ryan, do you think that Vickers will leave? My answer to that question is, in January, this window, no, I don't think Cameron Carter-Vickers will leave. Why? Because I don't think Celtic or Brendan Rodgers are in a position where they can allow Cameron Carter-Vickers to leave. They need the summer to roll up. They need to do more business. They need to sign better players. You lose Cameron Carter-Vickers, you downgrade automatically. There is nobody in the whole changing room that is a centre-half that is anywhere near his level. Liam Scales isn't near his level. Mike Nawrowski isn't near his level. None of these players yet, as far as we're aware, are near the level of Cameron Carter-Vickers. Brendan Rodgers will not want to let him go in January. I think teams will be monitoring. That's how football works. Of course, clubs will probably want to try and sign him in the future. But I don't see him leaving in this window. Now, a lot of people are already bringing up the fact that Cameron Carter-Vickers has been injured a lot this season, and his fitness hasn't been great or whatever. Yeah, he's struggled. He's been in a bit of a sticky wicket, because he started the season, he got that knock, and then came back, got another knock, and it hasn't been great for him. But I'm hoping that's something that's, temporary, and it'll be put behind him for the second half of the season. But that does not influence my view on selling Cameron Carter-Vickers whatsoever. I think that you need to be a maniac to even dare suggest that even with the injuries, it's fine to let him go. He is one of, if not the best centre-half that's been at Celtic since the Martin O'Neill era. I can't think of many better. Virgil van Dijk is probably the only one that they can possibly say has been better than Vickers has since the Martin O'Neill era. Through Gordon Strachan, Tony Mowbray, Neil Lennon, Ronnie Dyla, Brendan Rodgers in his first. Nobody matches the ability and the level of Cameron Carter-Vickers. I don't care how much he's been injured this season. You need to keep him for what is a vital 6 months. And I'm hoping he's fit for it, but that's the point in keeping him. Because if he is fit for it, he is massive. Absolutely massive to our hopes of going to win this league title and win a cup. And I think some people forget about that. When I've seen a few people already going, do you know what, if he goes, it's not that bad. It's not that bad if he goes. He's injured this season. It's fine. We don't need him. That's nonsense. We are currently in a position where a title race is very real and very possible. You need players Cameron Carter-Vickers. You need players like him. They make the difference. They split the hairs. He is vital to this team. And this is the thing, you know, and this is only a very small minority of people I've seen online who'd gone, I wouldn't mind losing him. These people who do say that are the problem with Celtic fans in general. And this includes myself. I'm not targeting people here. This includes all Celtic fans. We are very, very, very reactionary. So when something happens in the space of a couple of months, oh, he's injured, we could get... That's not... Because he could play well for the next 5 months, not get an injury, and then people would be saying he's untouchable again. He's unlosable. You can't sell him. That's what happens. We're very, very, very temperamental like that. We're very reactionary like that. If you ask yourself deep down the proper question about Cameron Carter-Vickers, you do not want to lose him. You don't, and that's that. So a lot of different varying opinions in the chat, but I'll come to the chat shortly. Let's get... This is the Records article on it. They're not the only people to report. I don't even think the Record were the ones who kind of broke the story. It was one that came popping up on Twitter last night, and obviously has... went a little bit further. Cameron Carter-Vickers' interest puts Celtic on alert as West Ham are one of 3 Premier League clubs interested in Cameron Carter-Vickers. The article goes on to say that Vickers is wanted by West Ham, Nottingham Forest and Brentford. The Premier League trio have been monitoring the Celtic defender throughout this season. A source close to Cameron Carter-Vickers has confirmed to Record Sport. And while it would take a bid well in excess of the initial $6 million the Hoops paid for him, the Parkhead hierarchy are bracing themselves for offers in this window. The fact is now as well, we're so long into this window, we're like, you know, we're over halfway through now. There's not a lot of time left. You can't recover from that, in my opinion. I don't think there's any possible way that Celtic can go out and sign somebody in the next 13 days who equal or better the ability of Cameron Carter-Vickers. So Celtic need to be very smart. Obviously, people are throwing numbers about it. I see people in the chat saying at least this, at least that, we need this. I think for any sum of money, Celtic have got to do their best to keep this guy at the club. Listen, his value isn't going to drop significantly between now and the end of the season. If these clubs are still interested in him in the summer transfer window, we can still ask for 15, 20 million pounds. He still has, I think, 2 years, 3 years on his contract as well when it gets to the summer. This next 5 months, unless he was to go out and become the worst centre-half imaginable, is not going to take anything away from his value. Celtic need to prioritise the club over money at this point in my eyes. I just don't think there's, and this is purely my opinion, but I don't think there's any world in which you can convince me that Cameron Carter-Vickers leaving Celtic Football Club is okay, even if it's good money. It's not okay, because this is going to be a tough few months coming up, and we need him for that. On that note, people are asking, you know, what would I take for him? What price would what would I say? Tony in the chat saying at least 10 million. I think 10 million would be short-changing this. I've seen people saying 15 to 20 million. I've seen a lot of comments. We've got, there you go, 15, 25 million, stuff like that. You know, we can throw these numbers about, but you're looking at a defender that Celtic should be looking for, I would say, 20 million pounds. He's got that, and this, I'm not saying that he is this world beater, best centre-half you're ever going to see. You will struggle to find a centre-half who has been better than him in Scotland in the past 20 years. You would struggle. We shortchanged ourselves with Van Dijk, but that was 10 years ago, so the market has changed significantly. We got what for Van Dijk? £13 million? £12 million for Virgil van Dijk 10 years ago? It's 10 years on, we should be getting at least 20 for Cameron Carter-Vickers. He's the best centre-half that's played in this country for the last 20 years, and Celtic need to realise that value. I'm hoping that he doesn't leave in this window, but you cannot deny that some of the clubs interested are extremely tempting options, and that's ultimately where it's going to come down to. You're looking at West Ham, who are managed by David Moyes, who's had a stellar career as a manager, who are constantly challenging in the Premier League at a decent level, who won a European trophy last season and could win a European trophy this season as well. You've also got Brentford, who have been very, very impressive since emerging in the Premier League with Thomas Frank in charge of them. They have been a very exciting team to watch. They're about to get Ivan Toney back in their side and very well could challenge over the next few years for, you know, places like Conference League football. The only one that doesn't seem as appealing right now would be Nottingham Forest, because they're a side who could very well get relegated. They are staring in the eyes of a financial breach, which could see them points taken off them. I think that Nottingham Forest is the only one that looks kind of unattractive. But we've seen, you know, Christopher Ayer move to Brentford in recent years. We've seen a lot of big players move to Brentford in recent years. And obviously West Ham are in a very good position, quite a big club at Premier League level. So these are extremely tempting options. If these are very real options and this isn't nonsense that's being reported, I can see Cameron Carter-Vickers leaving Celtic in the summer. There's no denying that. But Celtic must do it. And this is, you know, I don't care what anybody's saying at this point, right? This is my final opinion on it, my final word on it. Cameron Carter-Vickers is so important. And we should not let him leave the club this window. That's that. Summer, if we have work to do, that's fine. That's the nature of football. You've got to lose your best players. You've got to replace your best players. That's what being a Celtic fan is. But I just don't think that we're in a position at all. You're looking at somebody who's arguably been player of the season the last 2 campaigns. You know, and that's what I'll never get with some people going, it's not that big a deal if he goes on. That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. We're very reactionary because this is somebody we've been banging on about for the last couple of years. Every Celtic supporter. And that's the truth. So, yeah, I hopefully he doesn't leave in this window. It is being spoke about a little bit. I think that we would leave ourselves in a very poor position if we let him go. I mean, you let him go, like, you know, people, I've seen a lot of people saying that I'm wrong. And listen, that's fine. It's opinions are opinions. But what happens if Vickers leaves? You know, he talked about, his fitness issues have held him back. Mike Nawrowski's been injured all season. His fitness situation hasn't been any better. So you've got an injury-prone Mike Nawrowski. You've got Stephen Welsh, who's been injured all season. You've got Liam Scales, who has been great this season, but come on, you've got to be realistic at a point. Is that what we're leaving ourselves with? Is that what Celtic fans would be happy with? Are you taking the piss? I don't understand that, because if fitness is the thing swaying you on Cameron Carter-Vickers, then 2 of the other defenders at the club have been injured all season. Makes no sense. You're going to leave that burden on Liam Scales. And I think that Cameron Carter-Vickers is a massive, massive part to how successful and how good Liam Scales has been. Liam Scales has been brilliant this season, and a big part of that has been the partnership that he's had with Vickers, because he makes every player around him better. Anyway, right, that's I think that's basically it. In terms of gossip, anything floating around, obviously we spoke about Owen Beck yesterday, so if you want to hear anything on Owen Beck, check out yesterday's video. I'm not going to go through it anymore today, because there's not been any development since everything that I said yesterday basically remains the same on Owen Beck. So as far as my understanding is, there isn't much. Apparently, Liverpool are thinking that sending him to the lower leagues of England would be better for his development. I disagree with that. Obviously, there was talk about Kelleher as well. There's still talk about Vata leaving the club. Gustav Lagerbielke's situation is kind of up in the air as well. So there's not much that's changed or developed from yesterday's video. So check that out if you want to go and get that. So yeah, that's basically that. We'll go into the Q&A now, I suppose. Let's get your questions, your answers. It can be about anything. It can be about Cameron Carter-Vickers. It can be about fucking anything. This is my favourite part. This is why I do it. So get your questions in. Wow, it's warm up here. And it's freezing outside. But maybe it's because I'm wearing this big bastard and fleece and a hat and everything else. Oh, thank you very much, Gary. Gary McAllister. God. You know what, Rangers anymore, pal. He's not been Rangers for years. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Do you think we'll get a left back this window? I'm not bald, Tony. I'm not bald. I would look like there. You can see there's my hair. I'm getting bald. That wasn't a good angle at all, actually. Do I think we'll get a left back this window? I fucking hope so. I really do think we will. And I don't want to fill myself or you with false hope, but I think that we will. Even if it's a last resort, I think our left back will come in. If it's somebody that's better than Taylor or not, that's the question. Would you take Grant? No. Simple answer. Sorry, Aidan. No, I wouldn't go anywhere near Grant Hanley. Thanks very much. Gordon saying, people saying they're not bothered about Cameron Carter-Vickers leaving are the same people that will be on here going nuts if we end up not replacing them and losing the... Thank you. Great point, Gordon. Amazing point. Exactly. People will be like, oh, it's alright. So Vickers could leave. Let's say, hypothetically, Vickers leaves the club on the 23rd of January and people are like, it's not that big a deal, that's fine. It gives us 7 days to sign a centre-half and people would be going after tits. You're spot on, Gordon. You're absolutely spot on. How much do I think we'd make out of CCV? You'd be expecting at least £15 million. But I think you're right in saying I think that I think he is worth more than what we'll get. I just think that is the case with the majority of players Celtic try and sell. Especially defensively, I think it's harder to try, because you don't have the goals and assists to back things up. I think that's a big swaying point in paying for a player. I don't think we would get as much. I'm sitting here saying I'd love to get 20 million for him. Being realistic, I don't know if we would, but 15 million surely has to come in. Ryan Kuhn has Dembele's number 10. Do you think it's a double bluff and he'll play as a striker rather than buy one? It's up there. There he's there. Number 10. I think that we might see him get used at a striker at points, but I don't think that is going to be... Sorry, pardon me. I don't think that's going to be his purpose of being brought into the club. The fact that he is versatile and he has played up front in his career will probably come in use to Celtic at some point, but I don't think that that's going to be in Brendan Rodgers' mind unless it needs to be in his mind. So aye. Do I think that his announcement video was a bit cringy? Seemed like he just wanted to get to bed after the fight and he got a full stadium tour. Fuck him. He's getting paid probably about 15, 20 grand a week. He can sleep when he's dead. That's my opinions. No, I know what you mean. But listen, they want to make these things spectacular and cringy now. That's the way of the world. Can't believe we're more than halfway through January and we've barely been linked with a player. On top of that, perhaps more worryingly, where's the dead weight we were getting rid of? There's a lot of players who have been scheduled to leave the club that has just not happened. Siegrist, deal fell through. Lagerbielke, deal fell through. Vata, deal is in progress, looking like it might fall through. You can't help that when these things happen. So yeah, getting rid of the Deadwood. I think that the lack of signings has probably held up the process of getting rid of Deadwood, to be honest with you. I think that probably they're like, right, we can't get rid of too many people in case we don't sign enough people and we don't have a big enough squad. I think it goes kind of hand in hand like that. But I will give you, it has been a bit disappointing, but it was always going to be hard. I said that for weeks leading up to this window, how underwhelming it might be for some people. Because January is a tough window to navigate in. It really is. Thank you to Chris for the £2. What was for dinner? It was like, I'm going to scroll down the chat, so if you've got any questions and I've missed them, just keep putting them in, and if I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't. You know the script by now. What was for my dinner? It was chicken steaks. It's fiery chicken steaks. It's left a number in my stomach. Be pebble dashing that bowl in 20 minutes' time. You did not need to know that. Don't say I don't give you a good time here. Right, let's get to the bottom of the chat here and let's see what we can get. Knowing the board did replace Vickers with McKenna. Yeah, and imagine the outcry if that happened. Just saying. Just imagine the outcry if we done that. Board getting rid of CCV and bring back Phillips on loan. It's the Celtic way. Exactly, yeah, it would be. The stiffs will probably go towards the last few days of the window. Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of that. I think people get not so much desperate, but clubs realise that, okay, if we need an option, we better go out and do it. I agree, Smell the Gov. I think we'll see a couple of people leave very late in the window, even if it's just loan deals. I think you'll see a couple of people go. Why is Mikey Johnson still here? You tell me. You tell me. I've been asking that for the last 6 years. Martin, God knows. Currently praying on my rosary beads that Bembe leaves in a permanent transfer. God. I mean, there was a bit of excitement when he signed. God almighty, how things have changed. What do you think of that Icelandic keeper? I'm not going to lie to you, Callum. I have not seen anything about an Icelandic keeper. Say that I'm in the know or not, whatever, I have no idea. So I can't give you an opinion, Callum. Link me up with a name and I'll do some research. That would be ideal. We lose CCV, we lose the title. It could be as simple as that. It really could, and that's what I'm trying to stress. Now, a lot of people aren't having it. Adverts, sorry, Smell the Glove. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm afraid. I do apologise. YouTube adverts are, I have a cheek to say this. They pay my wages, YouTube adverts, right? They're actually very important for me. So think about that, right? No, but seriously, they are a pain in the arse now. I sit down to watch YouTube videos with my dinner, and I put them on the telly, and it's adverts every 2 fucking minutes. I know these pay my wages, but there's got to be a better system for it, surely. It's like you start a video and then 30 seconds in, an advert plays. I'm like, what's this? It's a pain in the arse. I wish I could do it ad free, but I would literally be poor, so that wouldn't be ideal. James McCarthy, yep. Every stream, James McCarthy comes up at some point. Anyone going to the Arthur Boric meet and greet in March? I was thinking about it because he is like my favourite Celtic player ever. But we'll see. Why am I still here? Well, Jed, it's my YouTube channel. I would like to think that I'm here. It's my job, mate. That's why I'm still here. Do I think that Nawrocki could be a natural replacement for Cameron? Hypothetically speaking, yes, of course he could be. But there's not enough evidence there yet to suggest that he is the natural replacement for Cameron Carter-Vickers. So I don't think that we can jump in two-footed and say yes to that question yet. As much as I want to say yes to it, can I? No, I can't. So hopefully, Stephen, by the end of the season, he will be. But we'll need to wait and see. Can't wait for the Bucky game. Great tonic after this endless winter break. I'm looking forward to a wee bottle of Bucky soon. I got a Bucky hamper for Christmas. Aye, I got about 7 bottles. That's just the big bottles, and then about 5 half bottles, and then about 7 miniatures. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm not drinking that this year. I have about 2 bottles a year. I only have it when I'm going to Hampden, basically, or an away game. I don't get to that many. God. Anybody want any Bucky? Did you have a sausage roll for lunch? No, I did not. I don't like sausage rolls. As unpopular an opinion as that might be. It was a joke. Right, Jed. Appreciate it. Let's see. Johnny Boy is saying, considering the prize at the end of the season, would you think even the board would understand the situation too risky by Joe? I'd probably call it staggering. Now, the board are clueless, man. Let's be real. Like, they're not clueless. Well, they are clueless. I'm not going to get started. I'll end up getting fucking my season ticket revoked off me. Monday morning Bucky shites. I relate to that all too well. Let's see. A couple of more. What were we on? 27 minutes. So we've got time for a few more questions. Mind giving us a bottle? I'll just sort of raffle them off on the channel, shall I? Give out tickets, like a virtual raffle ticket. It's just free to enter and just give the bottles away. Should do that. Actually, I don't think I can do that. I think giving away alcohol might be illegal. Not illegal. But in YouTube, I think it's not allowed. Don't want to get caught giving it to somebody that's not actually allowed to drink alcohol. Let's move on. Let's move swiftly on. What's this? Celtic, Ryan, do you think that Celtic should do a Subu team with all the new kits? I've never been one for Subu, or however you say it. But why no? Go for it. The board could cost us the league. They could. They literally could. We're staring in the eyes, as I said about 10 minutes ago, we're staring in the eyes of a very real potential title fight, and the board are standing idly by, not backing their man in Brendan Rodgers. It's bizarre to me, but it's a very difficult window. I'm trying to look at it both ways, kind of devil's advocate, if you like, but it's very difficult to do that when you're like, right, well, we need to sign players. Will Trump win the upcoming election? Do you know what? Yeah, I think he will. I've been saying this for weeks. I think he'll be president again. Take that as you like. Do you think Celtic will ever spend big on players rather than buy for profit? Not with this ownership. Thank you, John. Appreciate that, mate. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. We should be trying to add more quality, not losing it. So long ago, we were screaming out for a centre-back, and now some are not bothered if the best goes... This is Gordon again. Gordon, he's saying it better than I can. I can't wrap my head around these people going, it's not a big deal if he leaves. I just don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. We've been crying out. You put it perfectly. We've been crying out for centre-halves. You're like, I'll just let the best one go. What? Make it make sense, man. Thank you, Gordon. You should start a channel, sir. Ryan, how do you know what's going on behind the scenes? Genuine question. I barely do, mate. I'm not going to lie. I don't really. I'm a journalist. Where is it? Hold on. Give me a moment. I forgot I've got this framed now. This is how I know what's going on behind the scenes. Journalist. Huh? That's fucking nothing, that. That's a bit of basting paper. I could have, I can make up any shite and say that it's because I'm a journalist. Do you know what I mean? It's nice though, isn't it? Lovely. There you go. Bachelor of Arts in Journalism Sport. Wonder if it'll ever come in fucking handy. God, I'll be a right tit of this now. Stay there. Aye. Right, I think that'll probably do it for an amazing amount of viewers, by the way. 448 viewers. You can, honestly, I could have. It's just a sort of, I could have made that in Photoshop and printed it off the print. I've got a printer here. Just shove that in. Anybody ever watch Peep Show? I love Peep Show. I've watched it about 12 times round. But you know how when you watch the episode, it's like late in, I think it's like the last season or two of Peep Show, and Jeremy becomes a life coach, and he literally has like a printed certificate on his wall saying he's got like a degree in some fucking methodology or something. That's like that. That's all that is. I didn't work for that. I printed it off myself. Aye. Anyway. Thank you. Thank you for people saying well done. I got it fucking months ago now, but thank you. I appreciate it. Buzzlop. Some guy. Right. I'm going to wrap it up there for this evening. Over 400 live viewers on a random Wednesday night when there's not really much in the news is very, very much appreciated. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. You're very wise, Ryan Stephen Fitzsimons. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight. So thank you everybody for coming on. There will be videos over the next couple of days. Hopefully maybe another live stream as well. I don't know if we're getting a podcast filmed. I need to ask the boys if we're getting a podcast on. Just keep an eye on the channel. There'll be content there. And hopefully we have something to talk about as well. But for now, that's going to do it. Thank you all so much. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. God bless. And I'll see you all next time. Cheerio, guys.